Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Midsommar. So this one came out in 2019 and of course I missed it, which is why I'm reviewing it now. And there was a lot of high expectations for this one as it's Ari Aster's second film after Hereditary. And I'll get more into that in a minute, but first of course all the information is down below. And on top of that, I'm going to see what IMDb says the plot of this movie is. A couple travels to Sweden to visit a rural hometown's fabled Midsommar festival. What begins as an idyllic retreat quickly evolves into an increasingly violent and bizarre competition at the hands of a pagan cult. Wow. Well, obviously what stands out there is pagan cult. I mean, that sounds good, right? But you know, I don't really like comparing directors' works and so forth. I know some people get into that a lot. I like to try to take each film individually, but with this one I can't help it. Basically because, you know, Hereditary, you know, a lot of people saw it, and that also made, I believe it was 2018, made a lot of people's 2018's top list. The film was excellent, really well done, well acted, of course. My problem there was it was just very weird. You know, it starts off with a horrific incident and then just steamrolls into weirdness. And to me, you know, I have a point where, you know, it's horror. You know, there's lots of weird going on in horror movies, but to me, I have a line there, and once that line is crossed, you know, it's hard to pull me back from. And my biggest problem with theirs is the movie it became so weird that it was a little distracting. And you're trying to instead of enjoy the movie, you're trying to figure out what in the hell is going on here. And that was a little bit of my fear going into Midsommar, is that, you know, definitely from the trailer it looked weird, and definitely there was some mystery there. You know, what is happening here? And my fear was, you know, this is just going to end up being another weird movie? And I guess my fears came true, because you know, it's my experience with it is very similar to Hereditary, although I think I'm going to say that I enjoyed Hereditary probably a little bit more. Maybe because it was a little closer to horror and not the weirdness that is Midsommar. But you know, you can see very similar ways we're going here. You know, the movie opens up, introduction to some of the characters, a tragic event happens, and then we end up with the characters in this festival, this new land, territory, whatever, with this cult. You don't really know it's a cult at first. Well, maybe the audience does, but they don't. And, you know, the movie kind of is a little slow at that point, you know, and before we start to dive totally into the weirdness, although you can see it sprinkled in the beginning. You kind of get a slow introduction there, you know, as you're seeing what's going on. The people, you're introduced to some of the people that are in this cult, and then you're slowly introduced to some of their traditions, or what they're doing, or how they're celebrating. And then on top of it, you have the fact that this group of friends likes to do drugs. So at some points you're like, you know, is it part of them being drugged? Is it really happening? And, you know, that's something the characters also battle with. And then it just steamrolls into a lot of weirdness. So, yeah, unfortunately for me, you know, it just reached a point where I'm just staring at the screen going, damn, this is weird. This is so weird. Why is this so weird? And at that point, you know, the movie, then it kind of loses me. I will say the actual parts that really were horror in the movie, as far as the death, they were pretty good. I don't want to give away too many of them, but I guess you know, there was one, I think it was in a side barn or something, and that was pretty cool. I'd seen they had done a similar trick to that in Universal Horror Nights last year, and so it was a very similar thing, you know, from Vikings and so forth. And speaking of that, you know, I know that the team that put this together, Ari and so forth, you know, they did a lot of research and Vikings and the history, and you know, there's a lot of truth to the Midsommar festivals and so forth in Milan, and you know, I give them tons of credit for all that. I mean, anytime you go into a movie and you do a lot of history, searching in the history and not just making up something, you know, you should get extra credit for that. I mean, you know, you have different ways you can do a horror movie. You can just comes from your mind, you make it up and so forth. But in this case, you know, they did a lot of research and tried to bring you things, you know, from that area, from back in time as well, from the Vikings and so forth, and the history of that area in Scandinavia. So, you know, I can give them all credit for that, and some of the deaths were based on that. So, you know, there's some truth to those kind of things, and obviously Vikings are horrific. If you ever watched the show Vikings or done any research on Viking history, you know, they did plenty of bad things. So as far as horror-wise, you know, that's not a bad way to go. So, you know, I guess overall I enjoyed some of the deaths. Again, the movie is decently acted. You know, Hereditary obviously was a much step above. But the acting wasn't bad. It wasn't too distracting. Oh yeah, and then there was the scene in the cliff with these cult members at the top of the cliff and so forth. I don't want to go into too much on that, but that was another crazy scene. So again, you know, the deaths, you know, I didn't have a problem with. Deaths were great, and so forth. But just, you know, and again, you know, give them credit for the story they put together. It was well shot. They came up with some very unique shots and different angles and so forth. Like I said, you know, they mixed it in real well when the people were high or on whatever drug they were on, and then bringing it back to reality. But, you know, to me, it was just a weird story. And I guess I just, again, you know, I reached that point of weirdness, and, you know, I can't get over it. You know, I don't know. But for all of you out there who say, you know, that this belonged on the top list of 2019 or what a fabulous movie it is, I'm not going to argue with you guys. I'm not, you know. But like I said, the movie was great, you know, it was well done and so forth and all that. You know, it just, you know, maybe it wasn't weird for you. I don't know. To me, it was weird. I've said weird a million times now. I don't even know what other word really to use. Strange. I got the Stranger shirt on. I don't know. But, you know, that's the sum of the movie to me. I'm sure we're going to see some more exciting things from Ari in the future. No doubt, you know, kind of like Jordan with Get Out and Us. You know, he's put, you know, 2 quality movies up there and done some other projects and so forth. And I guess we're gonna look for Ari to also do some more amazing things in the future. You know, not a knock on Ari. It's just the weirdness I can't get over. But yeah, I will. You know, not gonna hold me back from seeing another movie from him. But with that, I guess I'll wrap this up, because I think you get the point that I thought the movie was really weird. And as far as pools of blood, you know, I want to say 2.5 just because the weirdness pulls it down for me. But, you know, on the other hand, the death scenes, you know, are really well, and the movie being really well done makes me want to say 3. You know, when I write it down on the blog, I'm usually more, you know, stick it on there 2.5, 3, 3.5, whatever. When I do these videos, I kind of want to do it in between. So I guess I have a little more leeway with you guys as far as explaining it. and I don't want to sit there on the review and explain forever why it's this or that. So I guess I'm kind of stuck in between. I guess I'll lean through Three Pools of Blood. Let's make the decision there and go with Three Pools of Blood. Because again, I'm not gonna slam it just because it was weird, at least weird in my eyes, because a lot of people like the movie. So again, more information about the movies down below, cast and plot and so forth. Check out more reviews at horrorgory-reviews.blogspot.com, and I guess I'll catch you guys on another video review or review on the site coming very soon.